We all know Peter Parker's golden rule. With great power comes great responsibility. We've seen Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, and Andrew Garfield risk their own lives to save the bad guys. But what happens when you take away the friendly and just leave the neighborhood completely terrified? Imagine a universe where Spider-Man doesn't web up the villains and leave them for the police. Imagine a timeline where he teams up with Wolverine, modifies his web shooters to fire high-caliber bullets, and becomes one of the most lethal assassins on the planet. I remember stumbling across this storyline years ago and thinking, there is no way Marvel actually printed this. But they did. Today, we are diving deep into the dark, twisted reality of Earth 8351, the universe where Spider-Man became a cold-blooded killer. To understand how Peter broke bad, we have to look at the exact moment his timeline split from the main Marvel universe. The catalyst is a classic 1987 comic called Spider-Man vs. Wolverine. Peter is in Berlin during the Cold War. He is completely out of his element, dealing with KGB agents, spies, and Wolverine, who is trying to help an old friend named Charlie. Charlie is a rogue agent who wants to die rather than be captured and tortured by the KGB. Wolverine is ready to give her a quick, merciful death. Spider-Man, being the ultimate Boy Scout, steps in to stop him. In the chaos, someone taps Peter on the shoulder. Peter's spider sense is screaming, his adrenaline is maxed out, and he throws a full-strength punch backward. But it wasn't Wolverine, it was Charlie. She tricked Peter into doing exactly what Wolverine was about to do. Peter instantly kills her. In the main timeline, this trauma haunts Peter. He goes back to New York and tries to move on. But in the 2008 comic What If? Spider-Man vs. Wolverine, the writers asked a brilliant question. What if he never went home? The guilt completely shatters Peter. Instead of fleeing to Aunt May and Mary Jane, he stays in Russia with Wolverine. Logan becomes his mentor. Think about that dynamic. The ultimate Boy Scout learning how to cope with trauma from a guy who solves most of his problems with adamantium claws. Peter embraces the darkness. He falls in love with a female assassin named Alex, and together they start taking out the worst criminals on the planet. He stops pulling his punches. When you realize that a holding back Spider-Man can lift tanks and catch cars, a Spider-Man striking to kill is a terrifying concept. He also gives his suit a massive upgrade. He ditches the bright red and blue for a sleek, tactical black suit. But the most jarring visual? He modifies his iconic web shooters. Instead of just firing webbing, they now shoot bullets. He uses his webbing to blind or trap a target, and then uses the built-in firearms to finish the job. It is brutally efficient. Now, you might be thinking, sure, he has guns, but is he really that dangerous? The answer is yes, because of what happens to his spider sense. In the movies, we see the Peter Tingle act as a brief warning system, but Assassin Spider-Man hones his spider sense to an absolute razor's edge. By constantly living in life-or-death combat zones, his spider sense evolves from a simple warning into actual precognition. He doesn't just sense danger, he knows exactly what is going to happen before it occurs. In the comics, a sniper tries to take him out from a massive distance. Peter literally dodges the bullet before the sniper even pulls the trigger. He knows the trajectory, the timing, and the exact intent of his enemies. He becomes virtually untouchable. Wolverine even admits that Peter has become a far better killer than he ever was, which is the highest, darkest compliment Logan can give. You would think this god-tier Spider-Man would be unstoppable. And for a long time, he was. He built a whole life in this violent world. But every timeline has its end. During the build-up to the massive Spider-Verse event, specifically in Superior Spider-Man issue 32, Assassin Spider-Man is recruited to help fight the Inheritors, vampiric beings who hunt spider totems across the multiverse. Despite his precognition and his lethal arsenal, he goes up against an inheritor named Karn. Karn is simply too fast and too powerful. In a heartbreaking moment, Assassin Spider-Man sacrifices himself to buy time for the others. He lived by the sword, and ultimately, he died by it. Assassin Spider-Man represents a terrifying what if. It proves that the only thing keeping Peter Parker from being the most dangerous villain in the Marvel Universe is his morality. Take away the morals, and you get a predator who never misses. What do you guys think? Could Assassin Spider-Man take down the MCU Avengers? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into superhero lore, and I will see you in the next video.